pathogens and how they jump from animals to humans. Speaking of which, let's talk Omicron.
Do you have an understanding of Omicron's behavior now?
When you look at the sequence of Omicron, it looks like the most recent ancestors of Omicron were actually SARS coronavirus 2 variants that were circulating in mid-2020. How did Omicron evolve without us noticing that Omicron was evolving? That it potentially was evolving in a population of people that isn't monitored closely. But given how transmissible Omicron is and how rapidly it's become the dominant variant in most of the world, it's really unlikely, I think, that it would fly below the radar for a year and a half and nobody would have picked it up.
So what explains that gap? Where's this variant that's now such a staggering global menace been? Rasmussen's curiosity aligns with the research that just maybe the variant has been hiding elsewhere, maybe coursing through animals instead of humans. And if so, that's a problem.
We could be looking potentially at future variants coming out of what's called spillback, or infection of animals from the human population. The virus starts spreading in those animals and then potentially can pop back into people. And that is one hypothesis for where Omicron came from.
But I don't know how worried I should be about what you're saying.
So that's really why we're doing this work. We're doing it to try to understand how worried we all should be. Now we know that COVID or SARS coronavirus 2 has already caused infections in white-tailed deer, both in Canada and in the United States. So we thought, what about the other animals that are in Canada? SARS coronavirus 2, we're looking at receptors from a bunch of different animal species that we think might be able to actually permit infection of SARS coronavirus 2, and we're testing that in the lab to see if these animals can actually be susceptible to infection. So stay tuned.
Stay tuned, because after COVID-19, more pandemics are possible, maybe even likely. And Saskatchewan is an important place for research about what may come next. The province's economy intricately linked with agriculture. So if researchers identify which animals to worry about, they'll then work fast to find ways to protect both the animals and the economy for everyone's sake.
Like, what is the reason to be concerned about commercial farming in particular?
Many really large farming operations keep animals, sometimes of different species, but in very, very close proximity. And those conditions are really, really conducive to a virus spreading like wildfire if a virus gets into that population. Now, this is already an economic problem for farmers when those are livestock diseases that can wipe out their entire herd or their entire